Yeah, I'm in the right one. Welcome to my humble little office. My name is R. Keith Andrews. I'm a spiritual guide and paranormal adept. The journey continues today on February 9th, March 9th, my apologies, 2025 at approximately 9:12 p.m. PST. Now, I've made it my life's journey to remind people that working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. I build myself as a spiritual guide because the tools I offer are the exact same tools that I personally use to okay, that came out really badly. Anyway, the tools I offer are the same ones I use in my own day-to-day life, and the tools I offer are the same ones that I use to gauge virtually every decision I make. With this in mind, I know these tools will work for you because they continue to work for me and have literally worked for thousands of other people over the years with varying degrees of success, depending on their own personal efforts. Now, I do apologize for being late. Time change and technology being what it is, I forgot entirely about changing the clock in my office. And therefore, I was thinking it was only 8:15, not 9:15. So that explains that, doesn't excuse it. But you can thank Storm for calling me and going, "What's going on?" Okay. He is in the background making sure technology works and apparently making sure I come online. And at the same time, he's making sure problem children are not actually a problem. So now let's see who we got in here. Oh yes, we do have LA Moon in the room. She is the one that tries to keep the conversation going if it lags, and make certain that I'm actually eating so that I don't have major problems myself. With that in mind, you'll be happy to know I actually had a pretty fair sized meal. About an hour ago is when I finished it. And yes, I've even taken my heart medication for the moment. I'm doing that for the next week just to make sure it stays on track. Because I'll tell you, health wise, my right hand with the stress that it's been going through has been spasming with devastating effects, especially where peeling hard boiled eggs is concerned. Now, go right to the top here, and we have Philip Blair is in with the gold. How you doing, Philip? Hopefully things are going well. And then we have Simon the Likeable has come in with the silver. Glad you could join us there, Simon. Scrolling down, who do we have? Or do we have is more to the point. And we have all the way to the bottom. And we have Cowie Snyder has arrived with the bronze, followed thereafter by Eternity Eternal, who has brought up the honorable mention. Really appreciate you guys dropping in and certainly hanging around till I got here. Sad to say, me and Time do not get along all that well. Okay, and Woo Rider, how you doing, Woo? Now, here's the thing. I keep hearing people talking about around the world. They've got major questions. Who's going to straighten this mess out? Now, let's be clear. I consider myself a Christian, because of the fact I believe in God, in one God. I believe in the Creator. I believe in Christ. Okay, this is what makes me a Christian in my eyes. Now, that being said, no, I have not read the Bible cover to cover, but I am about 3/4 of the way through it. But I'm not here to talk about a deal about the Christian God. I am here to talk to you about a God solution. Now, understand, every religion I've talked to, every spiritual path I've walked down and talked to the people following, okay, have all essentially come to the same, and they've started with the same thing. God created it all by whatever name you choose. God created it all. God created all living life, etc., etc. Now, I'm not getting into the issue of whether or not we are talking creationism or evolution. What would you do if I told you those two are mutually compatible? That's a discussion for a very different day. Okay. But every one of you, every one of the mainstream religions and the so-called pagan religions, the people I've talked to have all said the same thing. Their god, goddess, whatever, created it all and then gave the denizens freedom of choice and free will. Okay. And, there's this neat little concept. God created man in its own image. Here's the thing. Nowhere in there, in any of the religions, does it tell you God created and gave you freedom from consequence. So, God comes in, and this is just an overall. You fill in the blank as to who. Okay. Understand the reason I call it God is simple. I'm lazy. One syllable, 3 letters, 1 word. I don't like to work. You wouldn't know that by the number of books I'm writing, but with this in mind, God comes in. Man's not around. Okay, there is no man, there is no nothing. God creates everything. He doesn't have any worshipers. He doesn't have anybody praying to him. Now, understand, I'm calling it a he. Because, well, he, she, it, her, whatever, okay, call it what you will. You can call your God a peanut butter sandwich for all that matters. Okay, nobody was here when everything was created. Start there. Now, how's God going to clean up this mess that you made of your own free will? Okay, yeah, you can absolutely point your finger at the politicians, at the industry moguls, at the spiritual guides. Okay, pick a church, pick a temple, pick anything you'd like, and blame somebody else. But let me ask you, who puts your shoes on in the morning? So God comes in, gives you freedom of choice, free will, and the ability to create that which you desire. What do you guys on the whole do? Listen to a few geniuses. Okay, here we go. Philip goes, I consider myself a Christian too, and a Buddhist, and an agnostic, and an animist, and a pagan. I also like the esoteric sides of Judaism, Islam, Hinduism, Sikhism, and Jainism. Now, to be honest there, Philip, the two I don't know is I don't know what an animist is, although I suspect it's worshiping an animal, or a Jainism. Okay, so I'm guessing that these are other religions. I don't know them all. Okay, I've never claimed to be a know-it-all. But what I have found is every one of the religions that you've listed off there all teach the same thing. Okay, now, we can blame anybody we'd like. I've done it myself. But when you boil it all down, you have one of two choices. Either take responsibility for your own life or continue down the haphazard one you've got. Okay, the neat little side of it is this. If God were going to straighten this mess out, if you're Christian, you've heard this story, so I'm not going into it. If you're Christian, absolutely, this is the way God sorts things out. If he really wants to wipe them out. Okay, if you look at it, if you've got a benevolent God, and this is going to sound really cold for benevolence. In other words, if you got a God that's nice, he's giving you free will, giving you free choice, you got to deal with the consequences. The fact you have chosen to follow people that are not working in people's best interest, clearly, and yes, it's my opinion. It absolutely is. You look at the leaders of the industries, of the countries, of the different spiritual paths. These people are claiming to do one thing, and if you hadn't noticed by the look of the world, it's gone to an absolute disaster. And yet you guys of your own free will are putting these people back into positions of power and then wondering why the world's collapsing. Don't believe the world's collapsing? Take a look at it. Oh, thank you so much there, Philip. Philip is just filling us in. And animists see the spiritual essence in everything, which probably means I'm an animist. Okay, because not only do I see it, but I communicate with it. But here's what we've got. When I see you guys, some of you may not be. Some of you may have just decided you're not voting, you're not stepping into the mainstream society, and you're letting it happen. Well, here's the problem, and do not get me wrong. I am so tempted to walk away from so many things. I'm very much with you on that. Okay, but a benevolent God will go, I've given you the tools to make this paradise on earth or hell on earth. Your call. You've chosen hell. So a benevolent God will look at it and go, okay, well, I gave you the option. This is what you chose. Okay. So he stands back. He's going to let you burn the sin of the world to the ground. He's going to let you turn. This is a benevolent God. Will let you follow that path and let you destroy everything that you built on the planet. Okay. You don't have the awareness to be able to truly damage the planet on the whole. So the planet's fine. Okay. But a benevolent God is simply going to step back and go, I gave you free will. I'm giving you as much guidance as I can. Okay. And I tell you, there are days when I sit here going, yes, I bill myself as a spiritual guide. So why am I one of the few that is standing here going, guys, you're walking down a road that is going to burn you guys all the way to the Stone Age. And you're doing it voluntarily with your eyes wide open. Okay. Now, LA is going, it's pretty simple. It's pretty simple. It's pretty simple. Do the insane thing and repeatedly hoping for a different outcome. More insanity. Absolutely. And then, of course, Philip is bringing us in. Jainism is very similar to Buddhism. Their founders' lives overlapped, both in India. Yeah. Ellie goes, a loving parent lets a 2 or 3-year-old baby get to its feet by himself. Never mind, he grabbed the tablecloth from Thanksgiving dinner, is spreading it toward is speeding towards the toddler. This is one of the, and that's absolutely right, LA. They're going to make mistakes. Children will make mistakes. Guys, I don't care how old you are. You're all children. That's not meant as an insult, it's a statement of fact. If you had a parent, okay, you're a binary life form, meaning you had a male and female counterpart. Okay, combine those genomes and you have a child, you. You were given free will and free choice. You were not given freedom from consequence. Okay, now, for those of you that believe that a son or an offspring of your God came in and said, I am here to absolve you of all your sins. Let's be clear about something, guys. That was the sins you'd already done. He didn't come in to say, he or she did not come in and say, hey guys, I don't care what you did. I don't care what you do from here on. I'm going to turn a blind eye and we're going to call you a good kid. look at your world. Does that look like this is what's happened? Now, a benevolent God will let you continue on your path, doing your own thing, learning the hard way. And when civilization buckles, there's enough of you that a few of you will survive. Okay? Those are the ones that a benevolent God is then going to turn to. Okay? And go, okay, now you've had your mess. Let's see if we can straighten this out. Are you willing to listen now? Because so many kids refuse to listen to their parents. Okay, they absolutely refuse to do. Yeah, Philip goes, that sounds like a big mess, and LA comes back. That's exactly what we have. And it is. But here's the kicker. I will tell you wholeheartedly, you stay on the path you're on. Okay, you continue letting these so-called geniuses and these so-called leaders drag you into a mire that's thick and it's deeper than you are tall. Well, politely put, you did it to yourself. Now, do not get me wrong. Some genius out there is going to go, we need a revolution and overthrow the government. Tell you what, overthrow the government in your own house. In other words, change your own behavior. Become a beacon of the change you desire to see. A benevolent God is going to sit there and let you carry on. Okay, until you burn yourself to the ground. Okay, now, here's the neat thing. Philip goes, I've made a lot of mistakes, that's for sure. What would you do if I told you God made a staggering number of mistakes himself? Okay, and no, I'm not going to start quoting things from Oh God, although that was an interesting movie. But that's what a benevolent God will do. Doesn't sound very nice, but what they're doing is going, okay, is that working for you? Now, I will tell you, I have been here myself multiple times. You've been here multiple times. Okay, many different lifetimes. And I'm here once again. Okay. Yeah, unfortunately, I know the story Ellie's talking about. Ellie and I had a conversation about this one. And she's just saying, I've seen the chaos that comes when a government is overthrown. I don't want any of that. And absolutely. My memory of governments being overthrown comes from lifetimes back. So you've got a choice. Now, benevolent God will let you cook yourself. Absolutely, they will. Okay? And then benevolent God will stand back and go, this is going to hurt. Okay? And it's going to hurt you a whole lot more than it's going to hurt me. But I keep telling you, don't do that. You keep ignoring it. Now, let's go to the shorter version. This is what a malevolent God, a nasty God will do to you. Okay? He's going to look at the world and go, okay, we're done. Now, let's start over and let the amoebas evolve again. Okay? This is what you're walking into. Now, some genius out there, and you'll notice the term genius is not being used as a compliment. Okay? Some genius out there is going, well, we got World War III coming in, we'll straighten it out. Guys, World War I didn't work. World War II didn't work. And we're not going to talk about the number of wars before. But there is an old saying that goes, World War I was fought with guns. World War II was fought with bombs. We don't know what World War III is going to be fought with, but World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones. Guess what you're walking into? Now, I ask you, are you content with this outlook? Take a look at the world around you. Okay? If you believe in a God, okay, does it seem reasonable that they are going to come in and all of a sudden go, oh, you're being such wonderful little kids. If these 8 billion people were your children, would you be happy with them? A benevolent God is going to sit there and go, this is going to hurt, guys. I'm going to bury a lot of you because you're going to kill yourselves. It pains me to watch it happen, but I'm going to deal with it. But it's up to you. Quite frankly, it's up to all of us. Now, I've been taking a look at my life. Not happy with it. Don't like that. I'm not happy with the way my life is going. So I've come to the conclusion it's time to change. Now, I did mention I'm not tangling with mainstream religion. That means I'm not going to pick on any one religion, because every one of the religions out there, every one of the spiritual paths is contributing to the same problem. Okay. Ultimately, this is very true. Welcome to the show. How you doing? Uh-oh. Welcome's just going, I'm on sick leave for 3 months following an arm surgery, and I've had time to reflect on my life, my mistakes. I feel stagnant. I'm 57 years old. Well, welcome to the show. We are starting. Okay, we are restarting life. Now, when I say we, I'm sitting here going, I'm not content anymore. Now, I've tried to keep my mouth shut. That hasn't worked well. Well, sure it has. I kept my mouth shut. You guys walked right back into the same dang problem you did years ago. And all the warning in the world hasn't helped. Because you tell somebody something's going to go sour, and most people go, it won't happen to me. Tell you what, there's a lot of people that have fallen downstairs because they didn't believe it wouldn't happen to them. In your guys' case, and yes, I'm going to get caught in the middle of it. Well, I'm already caught in the middle of it. The big difference here is I'm hoping somebody will turn. Cowie, how you doing? Glad you could join us. I keep telling people, give the people starting these wars, give them my address. I'm tired of cleaning this mess up. And you guys are in for one heck of a mess. But, I'm just looking at this. Go back up here. And welcome to the show. I got a couple of years on you. But you desire your life to change. Here's how you do it. And this is what positive perceptions is literally turning into. How are we going to turn your life, and how are we going to turn the lights on to make your life a better life? Okay. Now, I can't make the changes for you. I can tell you, you desire to change your life. Let's get on with it. All the prayers in the world, all the positive affirmations, all the sing-alongs, okay, all the group sessions. Absolutely do them. They help bolster spirits. If you're surrounding your people with people, or you're turning to guides that are going, hey, your life is a bit of a mess. Absolutely. Sad point. Now, let's get it straightened out. Now, I could go, let's have a show of hands and see who's in for it. Okay. But a benevolent God will let you burn the world to the ground. They will let you burn your civilization right to the ground. They'll caution as many of you as possible to get the information on paper, on disk, to pass it on to the people around you. Because most of you will die. Okay. I can't give you a time frame, but a benevolent God will let you do it. He's not about to turn around and say, hey, it doesn't matter what you do. It's good. Don't get me wrong, a benevolent God will still tell you, yes, I love you very much. I care about you a great deal. I'm not going to stop you from learning by protecting you from your own chosen stupidity. Okay, that's the biggest thing you got to look at. A malevolent God, one that's nasty, is simply going to burn the world to the ground for you. Okay, now they'll do it in all sorts of ways. Okay, whether that's through a plague, through a simple overheating. Let's wipe out the ozone for a moment and flash fry everything on the planet. Okay, there are microbes that are alive today that will survive that kind of a burning. And then evolution takes over. And for those of you that are stuck on creationism, what would you do if I told you creationism and evolution are intertwined? Okay, they are absolutely intertwined. But a benevolent God is going to sit there and let you go down the road. Now they will put some people in, and there are other people on this planet other than me that are telling people get along. Okay, sad to say, there's way more saying give me all your money because the money is evil. So give me all your money. I'll make sure we take care of the sick and the poor by letting them freaking die. Okay, I'm not going to deal with the poor. I'm not going to deal with the sick. But give me your money because it's evil. I'll take it out of your hands and I will take care of things. They are standing there, I kid you not. Okay, and this is why I'm not telling you everybody out there is wrong. 90 to 95% of you are absolutely decent people. Okay, you get to decide whether you're one of the 90 to 95. Welcome to the show, goes. I have nothing but my two little dogs who I love so much. No friends except my neighbor in my community is full of thieves and drug addicts. But I love nature and humanity, but it's hard sometimes. Absolutely welcome. Now, the neat little part about it is this. You've got that in your house, but the fact that you've still got your heart and you can still look at humanity and go, there's something to work with. It's people like you it's your kinds of teachings, whether you're standing in front of a camera and saying something or just simply talking to the people around you. It's your kind of behavior that is going to carry on after the world burns. Unfortunately, you, like myself and so many others, okay, are going to go through this chaos. Most people are doing, quite frankly, almost nothing about it. Frontier Studies, how you doing? Glad you could join us. You know, if we are looking at a benevolent God, they are going to let you continue to make the same mistakes over and over and over until you finally get the message. Now, here's the kicker. It was once said, the true definition of insanity is continuing to do the same thing over and over and over again and hope for a different outcome. Okay, well, how's that working? I'll tell you, in my eyes, it ain't working well. But what we are now facing is a cataclysmic collapse. If you've been watching politics, I'm not getting into it, but I will tell you that what your worst fears haven't even been realized yet. On the global scale, they are going to get worse. Now, I spent 60 years in the Roman Senate. Well, in all fairness, I spent 40 years in the Roman Senate at about 1050 BC ish. Okay, until the gladiatorial revolt. Okay, I tried warning people then that the path they were on was going to lead to disaster. This one's going to do the same thing. 2,000 years and then some later, and you're repeating the same pattern that your ancestors did. Okay, now maybe you're one of the people that goes, but I'm doing my best. Hats off to you. Okay, I will quite readily tell you, I've watched Storm and LA Moon for years doing their best. Okay, unfortunately, they are, they're, and hats off to them. But the fact of the matter is, we're only dealing with a handful of people. The people that are making the biggest impacts are the ones going, hey, here's a new product. You can now learn a language with putting no effort into it. But let me ask you, like, there's a piece of tech out there that does that. The reality of it is this. Philip, the short answer is yes. And when I looked into my own past life, I was involved in that revolt. I was not Spartacus, but I did talk directly to him. Ginny, how you doing? Glad you could join us. That is one of those neat little things. I only just found that out about a year ago, that I actually knew Spartacus. But I was not Spartacus. Okay. I was simply one of these people that went, hey, look, I know you're going to end up killing innocent people, but leave the innocents alone if you can. If a soldier drops their weapon and tries to get away from the fight, let them go. Okay. Absolutely, the leaders are pretty much up in the air. Okay. Now, I will tell you, what I'm putting out here is being put into the Positive Perspectives magazine. And yes, it now has a title page, an index, and the different articles and what have you. It is still and shall always remain free. Okay, it's that simple. Okay, the same as this live stream is remaining free. Sooner or later, I'm going to run into a snag. Okay, as in, hate to tell you this, guys, but sooner or later, Storm and LA will pass away. Okay, and I'll have to find somebody else to take care of certain things. Because from what I found, the dead don't handle tech very well. But a benevolent God will literally let you burn your world to the ground. They will let you destroy all of the artifacts from your ancestors. They will let you bury the truth if that's what you decide to do. A benevolent God will let you do this. Okay? All the while telling you, I love you. But let me be clear. There is not a benevolent God on the planet in existence. Never mind on the planet. There's not a benevolent God anywhere that will tell you, go and kill some of my other children because I love you all. There's not a one that does that. Okay. Blue Cruz, how you doing? Yeah, LA goes, oh, we'll be around whether it's the corporeal world or not. When you look at it, a benevolent God will absolutely go, I love you all. Let's work together. Let's forgive the past. Absolutely. But they say forgive the past. Don't freaking repeat it. Okay. That is what a benevolent God will do. If you're worshiping a God that goes, oh, I am your God. I love you. I love all my children. Go and kill the other guy next door. A benevolent God never, ever, ever does that. Humans will, malevolent gods will, because malevolent gods work on fear, not on love. They work by stirring up the fear and the anger. Ken, how you doing? Long time no hear. It is time to point, and I'm going to be blunt about it. It's time to pull your head out of the sand. If you're worshiping a God that is saying, love thy neighbor as thyself, help thy neighbor, take care of thy neighbor, this is a good thing. If you're following a God that says, oh, everybody else is evil, you don't believe exactly as I am, I will kill you. Do exactly what I say, or I will kill you. This is a bully on a monumental level. If that's the kind of person you're following, I'm thinking you might want to reassess. Okay. Now, do not get me wrong. I started off telling you that I'm Christian. I believe in God. I believe in Christ. Probably more so than most of you. Okay. But I will tell you, I'm not here to say and tell you any one of you is evil. I will tell you the massive majority of people are decent people. But what's happening is all the negativity is building up. Okay? It's building up in a phenomenally bad way. If you're into movies, Ghostbusters 3, I believe it was, okay, where they dealt with the youth under New York City. That is a mild representation of what you're really sitting on. Okay, but it's up to you. Same as you can be a benevolent person and reach out and help the people around you, or a malevolent one. That choice is yours. But the side effects and the ramifications of being cruel to each other is being shown en masse around the world. Okay, I look at the social media, and so many times I see somebody going, "Oh, here's some pictures that these people would want you seeing. They're really embarrassing. Let's take a look at them, shall we? Let's share them and show everybody." Has anything embarrassing ever happened to you? Yeah, and I'll take that as a yes. Would you really desire somebody to do that with your pictures? Okay, it's time to follow karmic law. A benevolent God follows karmic law. Okay, they do not see themselves as better than anybody. They see themselves as certainly gifted in certain ways that you may not be. A malevolent God will browbeat you until you are so afraid of them, you won't come out of your house without praying to them. Okay, and this is the road you're on. You don't have to agree with me. All you got to do is take a look at the evidence. And welcome goes, I've worked in the steel industry for 20 years, and a prison warden and a secure pipeline inspection technician, but I'm struggling a little recently with reality and news daily. Absolutely, it is an absolute fiasco. It is an absolute fiasco across the board. It is not relegated to one country or the next. This is this is what we call a pandemic. Okay, but I call it a pandemic of abject stupidity because you guys know better, and yet you're choosing to do the same dang thing. Now I'm looking at this, and Ellie goes, "It sure isn't the place where we worked and grew up." No, it's not. People have been absolved of their responsibility and gone, "It's not my fault. Yeah, it's not my fault I've got a bunch of debt. It's not my fault that that prices are high. You're the guys that are electing people in here. You're the guys that are letting those that are power hungry and dominantly brutal. You're the guys that are worshiping these types of gods, and thereby you are putting up on a pedestal the people that emulate these kind of bully gods." And I have literally looked, and you can believe this or not, don't care. I have literally looked in the eye of God and gone, of what considered themselves a god, and went, you're nothing more than a bully, and I'm just not interested. Can a god kill you like that? Certainly. So can any individual with a gun or a car. Okay? This is just something that can be done. In the right hands, a credit card can be used to kill somebody instantly or within moments. No, I'm not going to tell you how to do it. Do I know how to do it? Yep. Okay. And because of my knowledge, I've literally been called all kinds of names that are intriguing and not entirely untrue. But a God is not going to tell you, a true God does not look down on the people he created. He does not look down and go, "Oh, I love all of you, except you and you and you. Nope, don't like you guys." and you and you and you. Oh, you guys are special. So absolutely go out, go out and kill everybody that doesn't agree with you. A benevolent God will not tell you this. A malevolent God or a bully will. Okay. Now, does your God teach love and acceptance? Or does the God you're worshiping treat and teach fear, isolation, and segregation? Okay. Which one are you following? Okay. I walked away from the church itself, from the Christian church, because of what I saw done. Now, that was a personal choice, and I cannot count the number of people that I've told literally go back to a church, whether it's Christian, Sikh, Buddhist, pagan, doesn't matter. I cannot count the number of people that I've sent back to them because there is this thing about the churches and their attachment to Godhood. Okay, it gives people a common ground. Philip goes, I voted for Bugs Bunny. How do we get more people to vote for Bugs Bunny so we can outsmart the bullies? Oh, well, we got to stop having him eradicated there, Philip. In case you hadn't noticed, cartoons like Bugs Bunny were banned in favor of putting Call of Duty in the hands of infants. Okay, this was a brilliant change. That's the biggest thing that you got to look at here. But that changes when people, on the whole, start going, this isn't good enough anymore. Okay, this is just not acceptable. Now, I will tell you, tomorrow we're going to take a look at how the off-worlders, in various capacities, would clear this chaos out. Okay, then on Tuesday, we're going to look at how the ancient races would clear out this chaos. Then on Friday, I don't know what title we're working with, but we are going to start to actively change the way the world is working. And I'm asking you guys for help to do that. Okay, needless to say, I'm probably not the one to ask if I'm going back to church, because the answer is no. My ex-wife actually wouldn't let me go to church for fear I'd call the pastor on his work. It was proven quite real last summer. But again, a benevolent God will absolutely tell you he loves all of his children. Oh, thank you very much, Sarah LA. I appreciate that. LA is just letting us know because we were late, we've still got 20 minutes to run to get that full hour in. So this works out well. And guys, special thanks to the LA Moon and Storm. Okay, because that, this is why we've got them. There we go. Storm goes, Friday we're dealing with lessons acquired from NDEs, from near-death experiences. Now, hold that thought for just 10 seconds. Okay, I'm just going to go grab more water because my throat's going to seize if I don't.
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
And we are back. I do believe that music comes from way back when I was actually going to the theater. Before, when they had these funny little images of people dancing around, these, popcorn and pop dancing across the screen, instead of ads for people shooting each other and the political upheavals. Now, a benevolent, Philip goes, mosh time. Now, simply put, guys, you've got an option. You can absolutely, you can continue down the path you're on. A loving God will stand by and let you do it. He'll caution you about it, tell you there's a problem, that you're going down a road that's just not going to end well. Or, and he will tell you, he loves all of you. He absolutely will. Some of you will hear him, some of you won't. This is where pastors and priests and pastors, priests, covenant leaders, rabbis, this is where they come in. Now, let me ask you this. On an individual level, because there are some out there that are phenomenal individuals. Philip, the answer to your question, yes, I did actually go to a drive-in theater. On Vancouver Island, I used to go all the time. When we got to Kelowna, I went to a drive-in theater and bore witness to a riot. Okay, now this is back in 1981. Okay, so we're talking about this is one of those things that just indicates where the world's gone. I do remember a time when you could walk down the street and nobody locked their doors because nobody walked into somebody else's house unless it was just an absolute accident. I shouldn't say nobody. Okay, there was a time when you could walk down the street and you never noticed whether or not somebody was a different color. You certainly never announced who you were sleeping with. Okay, now what we do is we look at everything going on. Jarvis, how you doing? Glad you could join us. In today's world, you are all succumbing to peer pressure, to subliminal programming. And I shouldn't say all of you, there are exceptions. I know I keep repeating this. Okay, and it's gotta be annoying on occasion. The fact of the matter is that I am not about to take the time to just identify every exception along the way. Philip goes, I've been watching 1950s and 60s movies made for drive-in theaters over YouTube. Yeah, no doubt. And some of them are really good. But take a look at your individual spiritual guides around you. Okay. I build myself as a spiritual guide, so that does drop me into that meat grinder. Ask yourself, the ones that are standing in the front of your church, your temple, your coven, your support group, are they encouraging you to draw on your own inner strength and the positive things you can do? And are they encouraging you to work with each other as a support crew? Okay. Now I know, for example, I know with most people that run an AA or an NA support group, they have set it up where you automatically are paired up with somebody to help you. Okay. But let me ask you, if you're a leader, are you telling people get along? Are you telling people work together and helping to orchestrate a way to show them how to do so? Or are you standing there going, our church, our congregation is better than everybody else's, and if you believe in what we're doing, you'll give us all your money. Okay, there is a massive problem here. And if you're following these people, okay, Welcome. I'm going to pop your bubble. You're standing here. You've got a support group. Okay. I know for an absolute certainty, if I hadn't had the support in this group over the last couple of years, I absolutely would have walked away. Okay. Because I don't have the support. And they'll argue the point, but there are people around me that claim they're supporting, and they are not. Okay. I'm not going to give names. It's just not going to work that way. But what we are looking at is an interesting situation. We can, working together, turn the tide of what's happening. Now, granted, you're not going to change politics overnight. But, for pity's sakes, look at what the politicians in your area are doing. You might want to consider a different approach. Okay? It's just a thought. But if the God you worship, a benevolent God will absolutely let you burn your own house to the ground. They will let you deal with the side effects and the hardships of having to live on the street, to live with a little food and with little shelter. A benevolent God will absolutely let you do that. But that same benevolent God will reach out to you and bolster your spirit in any number of ways. One of which, and yes, I'm going to tout my own horn. You set foot in here, if you're decent, if you're doing your best to be nice, we will do our best to help you land on your feet. No, not giving you any money. Okay, I don't have any to give you. I do have plans for it when I get money turned around. Yeah, Phelps goes, Werewolf in the girls' dormitory, 1961, was the movie. It's actually a better movie as a movie in your mind than the visuals it comes with. Let's face it, movies back in the 60s were not as technologically advanced as they are now. But I swear a lot that many of the movies from then had a better plot line and better character development than what's coming out now. One of the biggest things you got to remember when we're looking at a God and how to straighten out this chaos on this planet, a benevolent God is not going to come down here and go, I like that person and that person, and I don't like those ones. And absolutely, here's some nice people. I love them. Please burn their house to the ground. This is not the behavior of a benevolent God. This is the behavior of a malevolent God, or just a simply put bully. Okay, now I don't know about you, but I don't have a whole lot of tolerance for bullies. And by the way, this is why Storm evicts people as fast as he does. Because I flat out told him, we have a problem in here. I'm no longer equipped technologically to handle it. So, since you've offered, and LA offered the same thing, since you guys offered, if they're a problem child, warn them. If they don't listen, toss them. Okay. Now, I leave that to them because I'll tell you, I came to a conclusion with children. Give them a polite warning once. Then you respond and you make it a whole lot less enjoyable. One of the nice things about it, now technology has done a phenomenal job of drawing the world closer together. You would have thought, given the rhetoric that the various religions put out, that would have been the link between the worlds. But I'm telling you, with 45,000 denominations identified on the internet, okay, This is one heck of a hammer hit if you're talking about a unified religion. Now, don't take my word for it. Look it up yourself. Okay? I am one person, one opinion, mine. Is my opinion wrong? Absolutely not. But then nobody's opinion can be wrong. Oh, where are we here? Oh, there we go. Vincent's going Orson Welles, Vincent Price, Peter Lorre, Boris Karloff, and Sidney Greenstreet. Sidney is the only one I don't know. Now, absolutely, let's understand. I have been called a lot of things, not the least of which is the devil incarnate. Matter of fact, I had a lady come to me one day. She was not happy with me for whatever reason. And she comes to me and she goes, "You know, sir, you are there's a place in hell for somebody like you." I looked at her and I said, "Yeah, they call it the throne." She was not happy. Okay, but then I am not known for being politically correct. Okay, I'm really not, in case you hadn't figured out. That said, we've got to get this message out that everybody has a place to has a role to play. Everybody in existence is important to the proper evolution of this civilization. On its current path, your grandkids are going to be living in caves. Okay. In caves or concentration camps, I'm not sure which. You know, the reality of it is this. Oh, there we go. Cindy was an actor from the 40s and 50s. I don't remember that much about that lifetime. That lifetime, the one that I was alive in the 40s and 50s, I was one of the most volatile people in the United States. Okay, I was not a mainstream. What it was I would kill anybody I had the opportunity to kill. Okay, starting from because that lifetime I was born in 1898, and by 1914, I had a list of assault charges against me longer than my arm. I was mad, pretty much my whole life. This life I came back in with a whole different ballgame. But I will still tell you, in spite of the fact I am certainly asking you to bring the people here, okay, we, as in all of us, have a simple message to pass on, okay? That is, working together, we can make this a better world for virtually everybody. There are certainly those of you out there that figure you're better than other people and you deserve to be on top. Really, you know, you're more than welcome to your belief. Absolutely, you are. Where are we here? Oh, there we go. Sidney Greenstreet. The story's just letting us know. Sidney Greenstreet was an actor in the Thin Man, and he was flaming huge. You know the neat little part about today's world. You know, in today's world, we have a choice. We can either continue doing what we're doing, find ways to become an isolated unit. Right now, I know of two countries personally that are on the verge of breaking the country. Okay, of absolutely tearing the country in half. Instead of moving forward, after 200, maybe 300 years, these countries are pulling themselves apart back to the way they were way back before the countries were invented, were created. Now, I got a question for you. Are you going to turn around and permit this atrocity to continue while blaming it on the politicians that you put in office, the industry leaders who you fill their pocketbooks from by picking up their products, by the spiritual leaders who you go and voluntarily listen to telling you the world is a disaster and it's never going to get better. God's going to fix it. God ain't going to fix it, guys. God created it without you worshiping him. God built the place, put the people on it without you bowing down to him. And he went, okay, I built it. Now I built you. Whether you believe in creationism or evolution, here's a kicker for you. They're combined. Okay. And who you follow, that's your call. But are you going to stand by and quietly let this continue? If you do, your world is going to the world as you know it is going to collapse. Now, you don't have a word for it. It won't make it to me. Because the reality is, I know it's coming. I know what I'm looking at. This is why I look at it, and I talk to God on a regular basis. And he flat out told me, no, I didn't give them freedom of choice. I didn't tell them they could sin as much as they wanted, and we'd carry on. You know, all I did was said, here are the tools to be good. Here are the tools to be bad. Take your pick. You desire heaven on earth, make it. You desire hell on earth, have a happy. Okay, that is what a benevolent God does. A benevolent God will not tell you, do exactly what I say, because if you don't, I'm going to kill all your kids. I'm going to make your life miserable. This is not the behavior of a decent person. And honestly, if you think that's the behavior of a decent God, of a benevolent God, you might just want to reassess. Okay, maybe you're right. Maybe I've got it all backwards. Okay, but I live my life by what I see and by what I believe. Same as I encourage you to. But I'm telling you, the path that the world is on right now is not a path that is going to end well for anybody. You know, that's just the reality of it. Well, we are there. Okay, now, with this in mind, guys, and I appreciate the extra time there, LA. With this in mind, I want to say thank you so very much for sharing your time with us tonight. Absolutely. From here on out, we are moving forward. Bring your friends. Let them know we're here. Okay, absolutely let them know we're here. Okay, because it's through this place, one of many. Okay, but it is through positive perceptions that I intend to spearhead a change to help turn this world around. Okay, so thanks very much for sharing your time with us. Really appreciate it. I will be back tomorrow discussing the off-worlder solution to a mess like this. On Tuesday, we look at the ancient races. And then on Friday, we come and take a look at what you can learn from a near-death experience. Until then, do take care of yourself.